I still smoke weed. Mushrooms, coke, acid, I think that's about ecstasy, your party drug.
I could get it from my next door neighbor to the guy walking in the road.
It's like if the one doesn't have, there's always somebody else that will be able to. Just by the click of a button, I can just pick up my cell phone and have everybody there.
With South Africa's dark past and interventions like the Forced Removal Act, it has fueled Cape Townians' lack of identity and defined socio-economic areas. The gap between races, education and wealth is evident. Today, from Rondebosch to Delft to Camps Bay and Hanover Park, urban creatures' drug usage spills over these boundaries and uses drug dealing as a source of income, livelihood and way of life. We visit Dr. Simon Hall at the Center of Criminology at the University of Cape Town to find out even more.
What is a drug changes over time, what we consider to be an illegitimate or illegal substance. A drug is essentially, by virtue of law, defined as an illegal substance that produces a form of addiction or habitual use. That's how it's defined in South Africa. Drug use is a major issue in Cape Town precisely because there are a lot of very angry, very poor, uneducated, disenfranchised people who are still looking to make a life for themselves in some way. Drugs or substances or the selling thereof is a very good way of doing that. You know, if you take into account that it will cost you approximately a quarter to a third of your wage per month to transport yourself from the Cape Flats to the city if you're working minimum wage, it just doesn't make sense to do that when you can just stay at home and deal drugs. It is quick money, and it's also, I mean, you know, a lot of the middle class conceptualized drug dealing in a frame of reference that has to do with risk, that if you have grown up in a climate or an environment which jail poses no threat to you, then that's the only, you know, negative social sanction, and that is removed. When all of that breaks down, there's suddenly no means by which the use of substances which are considered bad is controlled, and people become acclimatized. At the top scale of drug distribution in Cape Town, it is actually controlled by very few people. But at the bottom, at the street level, it's a highly disorganized distribution network. So then, when you arrest someone, someone will take their place immediately because there's also a lot of competition between distributors. But thinking that you can then take drug distributors off the street, you'll stop the drug trade, it won't work. People will replace them, and the reason people replace them is because of those socio-economic and environmental conditions which pervade our society.
The United Nations World Drug Report states South Africa is one of the drug capitals of the world with substance abuse twice the world average. 15% of South Africans have a drug problem, resulting in 20 billion rand per year. 1 out of 4 rands in circulation is linked to substance abuse. Profits gained from selling drugs are far too big for it to ever stop.
There's a lot of old drugs that are now coming back into the market, and that is your LSD. The dealer that we found selling this, he was selling it for 100 rand. You can make 15,000 rand a week. If you're a good drug dealer, you can make 15 to 20,000 rand a week. Gangs are run by drugs. Turf warfare, it's all about selling your drugs in this area, that area. In our precinct, we don't actually have a drug house or a shebeen or a supplier, but dial a drug. They meet you, they deliver. So that is and that is our biggest problem. And it's not just in Deep River, it's across country.
Urban creatures utilize the drug trade not just for their dependence or recreational usage, but for their continued fight for survival. There needs to be much more done to stop this business if South Africa continues their current path.
There'll be changes in the drug economy. User preferences will change, consumption patterns will change. At present, we're not going to eliminate drugs or decrease their demand. I mean, it's going to get worse because the disparities within South African society continue and are often, in many instances, getting worse.
Same as we're going with Eskom. I'd love to say I can see it happening and anything like that, but we're not. We're not winning the battle against drugs.
Drugs are symptomatic of just a reflection of a society. So to change what the drug is reflecting, you need to change that society.
Dwelling in the depths, your fake peace converge, no caveats, we're taking the globe back. Masters of a craft and dark bars, we swing dark, celebrate with kings and queens lost.